y'all.
Today we're going to be making some very delicious and healthy elderberry syrup.
You can purchase this in the store, but it's quite expensive, and we can make it for way less than what the store around here anyways is asking for it. So we thought we'd show you how we go about doing that. And if you don't know, elderberries, what are some of the benefits?
They are 8 times the antioxidants than blueberries.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel a cold or a sickness coming on, you can start taking some of this, and it will shorten the duration of the sickness.
Right, and right, yes, and if you get it soon enough, it could eliminate it altogether. It's also an immune booster, so if you have any autoimmune, people with autoimmune disease, always check with your doctor first. But you can also do elderberry syrup for that, and it is an anti-inflammatory. So if you are having any issues with those things, it does help with that. So it's just an all-around wonderful fruit, and you can have it in your arsenal for health.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started. You want the black ones, obviously. That's when they're ripe. We'll roll those off. If you just roll your thumb across them, they tend to roll right off for you. You don't want the stem, so try not to get the stem in there. Okay. All right, so we're going to add a cup or so. You can add more if you like the flavor of elderberries, but you want to definitely have a cup of elderberries to 3 cups of water, which we already got our water going here. And you want to have your water at 180 degrees and no higher than 200 degrees, because it'll ruin the antibodies in it. So you just really want to bring it up to a boil at that 180 degrees, between 180 and 200, and then you want to just put it on a low to keep it simmering. So we've got our 1 cup of elderberries. I'm going to add 2 cinnamon sticks to that.
10 cloves.
Yep. And you can add more or less of any of these if you want them. If you like the flavor of cinnamon or whatever. This is just what we typically do. And then you're going to do, how much is this, sweetheart?
1/6 of a teaspoon of ginger.
And this is just dried ginger.
And you want to make sure your candy thermometer is not touching the bottom, or else you won't get an accurate reading.
Right. I always just take whatever utensil I have and make sure I can stick it under there between the bottom and my utensil. That's just a little tip. That's just what I do. Just gonna let this simmer. Now I know some people say cook it down and all that, but we're doing it for health purposes, not for putting on my pancakes and that sort of thing. So we don't want to ruin any of the goodness in these berries. We're just gonna let that do its thing. Oh, for about 10 minutes. So we're gonna set the timer. We're gonna let this sit and simmer for about 10 minutes. You can put all your goodies into a mesh bag or a hops bag, and you can put it in some cheesecloth and tie it off. We tend to have that pretty readily around here.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if you do that. If you do choose to put it in a bag, when you go to squeeze the bag out, it's going to be pretty hot. So you either want that to cool down all the way or get you some clean kitchen gloves, those ones that people put on for washing dishes and that sort of thing, not these little latex gloves are not won't insulate your hand too much, but you just squeeze it then. Okay, so make sure that if you're putting it in a bag, that it is cool enough to squeeze it, or you just put on some of those kitchen gloves. All right, we're just letting it simmer, that's all. Now I've seen people use ground cinnamon too instead of the cinnamon sticks. I guess that's just your preference. I just don't want all that left in my syrup. Yeah. Okay, time's up. So we're just going to take this off the flame and we're just going to set it aside and let it cool. And you want it to be at about no more than 110 degrees, because we're going to add raw honey to it, and anything above 110 degrees is going to take out all your good stuff from your raw honey, and so we don't want to ruin our raw honey. So we're going to wait till this cools down to below 110 degrees. All right, so our elderberry syrup is at 100 degrees. This is Fahrenheit, by the way. Sorry, I didn't say that. And we're going to strain it off now. You just want to take a fine mesh sieve and you're just going to put it in here. Works a little better with a spoon than that spatula. So we're just going to do a spoon here. I guess you could stick your hands in there and squeeze it too. That wouldn't hurt anything. But use a glove because these things will stain everything they touch.
Yes, I think they might be worse than beets.
Smells good, doesn't it? Okay, and then we'll just feed this right to the chickens.
Yeah.
And then you want to add a half a cup to 1 cup of honey, which we have a half a cup here. And I would just start with a half a cup if you want. And then if you think you want it sweeter, go, put more honey in it. Make sure it's raw honey because it has all the properties you need to boost your immune system and that sort of thing in it. Hey, oops, sorry.
All right, so now we're going to put this in our jar.
We've just got a regular canning jar. You can use a bottle if you have a bottle. We just don't have any empty right now, so we're going to go ahead and put it in our canning jar. And so now you'll just want to label it, and then you can keep it in your refrigerator for up to 3 months. And then you'll have to make you a new batch because it'll degrade after a while, but it'll stay real good for 3 months. And you take this at the onset of a cold, or you can take it in the morning. You can just take a teaspoon or a tablespoon of it in the morning, just like you would vitamins or any of that stuff. Just take we usually do a tablespoon of this in the morning. And then if you feel yourself getting a cold, or you feel something coming on, take it 3 or 4 times a day. And it'll either shorten the length of the cold or the flu, or you could potentially not have it altogether. Now, if you have elderberries in your area, we actually just planted this spring, we planted an elderberry bush. And if you have an elderberry bush, if you don't, you can go get one.
Yes.
They're super easy. You don't have to do anything. You just stick them right in the ground. They do all the things all by themselves, and they will spread, just so you know. But you can just take the elderberry. It grows up like this, like you saw us holding on to and rubbing those berries off. And then you just snip that off and leave it on the stem and everything. You just stick it in a baggie, stick it right in the freezer, and you'll have fresh elderberries anytime you want. Or you can dehydrate them and or freeze dry them and have them good that way as well. Well, guys, we sure do appreciate y'all coming along with us today and learning about elderberry syrup. Hopefully this was informative for you. As always, keep it simple
and fun.
Also, subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss any of our fun videos. And share it with your friends.